amazing morning, everyone! How are you today? By the way, do you like to obey? How often do you obey? Do you think there's a blessing when you obey? Let's see what the Bible has to say.
John 14:23. Jesus replied, "Anyone who loves me will obey my teaching."
Obedience always brings blessings. You might read this statement and say, that may be true to you, but that never happened in my life.
If you feel that way, it is possible that you have been expecting that the Lord to answer your prayers in a particular way.
As a result, you have missed how He wanted to bless you.
What is a blessing?
Blessings define us. Anything that is an expression of God's love or goodness toward us.
It could be an answer to our prayer, miraculous provision, and unexpected favor are some examples. We easily recognize that these as God's gifts, but He sometimes chooses to bless us in a different way.
For instance, He gives us strength, joy, and peace throughout seemingly impossible hardships, and He uses suffering to mature us spiritually.
God's blessings come in a variety of forms, but we can be assured that the obedience to Him always brings blessings. Let's take some biblical examples.
God asked Noah to build a large boat, and it preserved his family during the flood.
The Lord called Abraham to leave his homeland and follow Him. Not only did Abraham experience great material prosperity, but he also became known as the father of the great nation of Israel.
Moses obeyed God by telling Pharaoh to free the Israelites. The people were freed from slavery, and Moses became one of the most important spiritual leaders in history.
Joshua followed the Lord's command in battle. Instead of using the typical military strategy of the time, the army marched around Jericho for 7 days. After that, God caused the walls of the city to fall, giving the Israelites the victory.
David honored God by refusing to arm his anointed king Saul. As a result, David was made king at just the right time.
Jehoshaphat obeyed God. When the Aramites attacked Judah, God promised that He would give His people the victory. As Judah's choir sang songs of praise, the enemy destroyed themselves in confusion, and Jehoshaphat's armies didn't even have to fight.
Peter cast his net in the middle of the day at Jesus' command. Consequently, he caught an enormous amount of fish. More importantly, he saw Christ, for who he was great eventually became a leader in the early church.
God called Paul to follow Jesus. This meant accepting the theology of the people he had been persecuting, the first Christians. Because he chose to obey God and the gospel to the Gentiles, he became the most influential apostle.
If you obey God, can you expect His blessing?
Yes, but remember that His choice of blessings may be different from yours.
Even when you undergo loss and suffering, you can still witness God's goodness. Perhaps He is using your suffering to draw you more closely to Himself, or to remove those things in your life that keep you from being spiritually fruitful. The Father loves you, which means He'll do whatever it takes to remove those things that keep you from walking in the center of His will. Often, His blessings aren't things that can be touched or to be seen. Sometimes, the best way that God enriches our lives is by revealing Himself more of who He is. Therefore,
Obedience always brings blessings.